you hear me? This is Unleash. Are you listening? Can you hear me? This is Unleash. Are you listening? Can you hear me? This is Unleash. Are you listening? Can you hear me?
With your host, Brandon Tierney, in 3, 2, 1.
Pretty safe to say that the Yankees owe Aaron Judge a little something, right? I find this incredibly interesting. Sometimes timing just works for you. So yesterday's show was about, obviously, Aaron Judge reacting to the offseason for the Yankees. And, you know, basically I said, hey, I wish Aaron would have gotten into that earlier because it could have been maybe a little kick in the behind for the Yankees to actually go out there and do something more than just, for the most part, run it back. Well, every once in a while, the baseball gods smile down on you. This is a gift from the heavens that is slowly developing, not in Philly because they're down south now in Clearwater, but you know what I mean. And that is what appears to be the possibility of an imminent divorce for Bryce Harper and the Phillies. Now, the short version, what's gone on, I mean, that was Bryce didn't have a phenomenal year last year. Dave Dombrowski said that, and anytime a superstar, anytime a transcendent player gets called on the carpet by a general manager, you know, basically anybody other than the manager, somebody in the front office, there is real resentment there. And I believe that this is a fracture between Harper and the Phillies that the Yankees simply have to pound on and pounce on and just go for and take the massive swing and just go for it. All right. I'm on the phone already if I'm Brian Cashman. I am already planting seeds. I'm throwing names out there. I am trying to get this thing done in the next year. I want Bryce Harper on the Yankees. All right. So everything that we've talked about for so long, right? Not that this is one move that would, change everything that plagues the Yankees. They're still not perfect. But how do you think that Bryce Harper would look in pinstripes? Number one, that should have happened, 6, 7 years ago when Cashman fumbled that, and he wanted to be a Yankee, but of course the Yankees dragged their feet, being a little cheap, whatever, same with Machado. This is not about rectifying the past or, full circle moment. This is about maximizing whatever remains of Aaron Judge's prime. Now, that's the easy thing. Anybody else could go out there and say, well, sure, go and get Bryce Harper. Why wouldn't you want Bryce Harper? Batting 2 and Aaron Judge 3, or Judge 2 and, Bryce Harper 3. Everybody understands that. But what I don't think enough people understand is that there's actually really a financial avenue to do this. All right. So if you look at a lot of these Yankee contracts, Volpe's making peanuts, Caballero's making peanuts, Ben Rice is making peanuts, Wells, Clark Schmidt, Will Warren. You got a lot of guys. Rosario's making $2 million, even McMahon at 16, whatever. Not a lot of money there. Now, obviously, you have some higher end contracts, which are preventing the Yankees from doing stuff. Now, at least in their way. Like, it wouldn't stop me if I owned the Yankees, but clearly an impediment and a speed bump for how to go all for it. Now, how do you work around this? So it can't be Delusionville. Like, I'm not just going to do a show and say, get Bryce Harper and do whatever it takes and give up whomever you want and, take on all the money. I've got to at least work within the framework of what I think Hal Steinbrenner would be willing to do. Like, I can't make this Fantasyland show. I've got to lace it with some real possibilities and like some things that really need to be woven into the situation. And I've done that for you. And I'm going to do it right now for you on the air. All right. The Yankees basically have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, excluding Aaron Judge, 6 contracts that have to really work around. Anytime you hear about the luxury tax or we shouldn't have to spend $300 million to be a champion, all that stuff that has been espoused for years by Hal, and then obviously Cashman's followed suit as the lieutenant, right? All that stuff goes out the window with what I'm about to present to you, right? So, first of all, now, no real order. I was doing this last night. No order, although I am going to save Bellinger for last year. So, Giancarlo Stanton, obviously tough to work around. You got to deal with whatever remains on his contract. Well, first of all, we are now officially at the point of Giancarlo Stanton no longer being an albatross of a contract. So, this year, Marlins paying $10 million, okay? Next year, the Marlins paying $10 million. The year after that, all right, which is a team option, it's a $10 million buyout by the Marlins. So the Marlins are footing the bill for a contract that's not even that exorbitant at this point for a guy who's going to hit 25 to 30 home runs when he's healthy, whatever, and have a ridiculous OPS and obviously miss 30 to 40 to 50 games. You know the Stanton experience, but it is not money that should be impediment here for the Yankees. Number one. Number two, Garrett Cole. And why I'm doing this is because if you do make a trade for Bryce Harper, now there was a wacky trade that was presented. I'll get to that later. Like, I have limits as to what I'm willing to give up for Bryce Harper because this is not 3-4 years ago. He's a little bit of a different player. So I've got some names. I've got some ideas. I've got some reconfigurations for you. But I think that those of you, I don't know anybody who wouldn't want Bryce Harper on the Yankees. We could have a debate who you'd be willing to give up, which, as I said, I'll get to. But to make this happen, to make this a plausible, realistic discussion, what would the Yankees really like? What would they have to do contractually with some of these things? When would contracts expire? Because I understand. Unfortunately, I think we all know that the Yankees are just sure. We'll give you up. We'll give you our 3 top minor league prospects. I guess excluding Lombard, and we'll absorb all the money. Like that. That's fairy tale land. That's why I've got to set this up and let you know why I think that there's still a way to thread the needle. So the Stanton thing, and I know that Stanton's got a no trade, and I know that the Yankees really like him, and I know that they respect him. I know he's one of the OGs in there with Judge, and everybody loves Giancarlo Stanton. So do I. But number one, if you convince him that there's maybe a better fit, better situation, Dodgers, somewhere out west, whatever, the Giants, he's from out there, there is a way to do this. There is a plausible path financially. And as the Marlins pay the $10 million, who says the Yankees couldn't kick in $2 or $3 million if they had to entice a team that we're not even thinking about? I don't know, like the Pirates, like the Reds. There's ways to do this. You'd have to convince Stanton to waive his no trade. Doable, number one. Number two, Carlos Rodon. When's his contract up? He's got 3 more years to go, 26, 27, 2028 at $36 million each. I really like Carlos Rodon. He's not quite the ace that I thought that they were getting. Last year, though, was really, really good. Playoffs aside, I think he's a horse. He's going to eat up some innings. He's going to win. And, again, the money's a little heavy. I'm not looking to get rid of him, so he stays put. And I would look to move Stanton more than I would look to move Rodon. And even, again, it's the timing of this stuff, guys. If you were to make a bold move for once, be bold, Yankees, for once. Been a long time since the Yankees have been bold. And if the Yankees are going to be bold, we're going to have to work around these numbers here, which is why I'm telling you where the numbers are. Garrett Cole, all right? Now, Garrett Cole, Rodon 27.8 each year for the next 3. Garrett Cole, thank God the Yankees showed some restraint a couple of years ago when he was threatening to opt out. Yeah, okay, go ahead and opt out. Have fun. We're not, we're not biting here. And that was a very smart move by the Yankees, okay? Especially given the Tommy John surgery. Anyway, Garrett Cole's got 3 more years. This year, 2027 and 2028. Big money, 36 a year. He's a horse. He stays. Max Fried stays. This is where you could really start to shave some numbers and look down the stream and say, okay, if the Yankees were to do this and they could put together a package that entices the Phillies from a prospect perspective or a young pitcher who's already shown something, I'm not talking about Cam Schlittler, in the major leagues here. Well, Ryan McMahon, are you telling me, I know he's a really good fielder, but he's making 16 this year. He's making 16 next year. Are you telling me that you couldn't eat $3 or $4 million, trade him somewhere, put Rosario and Caballero at third base, and just add Bryce Harper to the lineup? So you shave off money with Harper. So, with McMahon, and it kind of offsets any addition with Harper. Now, listen, in a perfect world, I would just like to say it doesn't matter what you do. Go out there, get Bryce Harper, add the 5 or 6 years he's got to go on the contract, and get Aaron Judge some studs. Like, this is what I'm saying. The Yankees owe this to Aaron Judge. Now, next year, there might not even be baseball, all right? So if the Yankees are worried about 2-3 years down the road, Aaron Judge, his age, the money, and this, I just laid out a pretty clear path as to why the finances and at least the ability to maneuver around some of these finances is not nearly the stranglehold that they present you to think that it is. It's not. There's a way to do this. You just got to be willing to do it. You've got to be proactive. You've got to be aggressive. You got to go for it. Like, you've got to take a massive swing right now, and you got to make this happen. Because I think Bryce Harper, who is saying the right things, and I respect that, And one thing that Bryce said, he really is a class act. I like the way he's comporting himself, because it would have been very easy when a general manager says, well, he wasn't elite last year. I'd be saying, dude, I'm a two-time MVP to myself. I'm a two-time MVP. I've made the All-Star team 8 times. I mean, I understand you've had a good executive run as well. What are you doing, though? And he was told when he signed with the Phillies that all this stuff would be kept in-house. And he said that yesterday. He's like, when I came here, I thought that it was presented to me in a way that anytime something would flare up, we would talk about this behind closed doors. That's how we would handle business. Well, Dombrowski now, he just can't. He ran him over. And you're a star. You're a superstar like Bryce Harper. Even if you're a scrub, you have an ego, let alone one of the transcendent figures in the game. So I believe there is a vulnerability here. I'm not saying that Bryce Harper's banging on Dombrowski's door right now in Clearwater saying, get me out of here. I know that that's not the situation, right? But it doesn't mean that there isn't a little crack in the foundation. It's up to the Yankees to take a sledgehammer and smash the wall to smithereens and make it really up to a point where the Phillies can't turn it down. Now, the other deal, right? And Bellinger here, right? So you want to play this out. And, any money that you are going to accrue if you acquire Harper and the pre-existing contract here, again, it's not nearly as bad as you think. Like, I know the Yankees have a high payroll and they've been handcuffed by some of these contracts, Stanton, some of the other ones I mentioned, but these are all ready to expire. There's a way to circumvent this stuff. There's a way to be creative. Hey, do what the Mets did. You know what I mean? The Mets didn't want McNeil. All right, the Mets didn't want Nimmo. They ate a couple of $1 million. They got rid of Brandon Nimmo. They got themselves a better team. Now, I'm not saying that the Mets are better than the Yankees, but the Mets took a step up. The Mets addressed weaknesses, and the way they did that was they were willing to eat a few $1 million. And if Hal Steinbrenner's ever willing to do that again, like his pops used to, and like Hal did, early on to an extent, well, there is a pathway where we could be sitting here every night watching Bryce Harper and Aaron Judge, or Judge and Harper in succession. Now, it won't quite be, Judge and Soto, because, Harper's never really been quite that, and he did a little diminished stats. Stats were down a little bit last year, but I think he would be so revitalized playing for the team that he always wanted to play for. I mean, I think that you would ride this thing to, must-watch Broadway show, terrific tandem, dynamic duo, however you want to frame it. You just have to make this happen. Or at least you have to try. I mean, in business, you can't force somebody to do something they don't want to do. I get that. So I want to be fair to the Yankees, and I'm not going to sit here and say, well, the Yankees never got Bryce Harper. What are you doing? Like, you've got to present something that's incredibly appealing to the Phillies, and you've got to give them reason to flinch. And once they flinch, then you've got to entice them more. You're playing poker. Keep flinging some chips in the middle of the table. You want Bryce Harper or no? You can make this happen. You can make this happen. Now, do I have great confidence that they will? I don't. I really don't. And by the way, the Bellinger contract, even though it's big money for this year, $42.5 million, and then 27 and 28, same thing, 42. Although 28 oddly goes down to 25.8. He can opt out of that. So even think about the big addition that the Yankees had this offseason, right? Bellinger. It's basically 1 year guaranteed, again, for pretty exorbitant money, 42 plus. That's a lot of loot, especially for a guy who's not a 40 home run, 950 OPS guy. But I'm happy he's back. But that's a lot of money, all right? But after 1 year, he could very well opt out. And I would imagine that he probably will, because that third year goes down to 25.8. The fourth year is $25.8 million. If you get Trent Grisham getting $22 million on a QO this year, you can't tell me that, downstream in a couple of years, Bellinger isn't going to be able to opt out. He's still fairly young, defensive versatility, all that stuff, where he can't squeeze out 2 or 3 more years from somebody. I think that that's very, very, not even possible. I think it's very probable. I think he's going to opt out. So it's not like if the Yankees signed Bellinger, think about this. If the Yankees signed Bellinger to a 6-year, and I did not want them to go for 6 years. You guys know that. 6 years, 40 times 6, 240. He was never getting 240. That's ridiculous. 6 years, 215, which was off the charts, never in play. But I'm just saying, Well, then I think I've got to have a different energy here because then I would say, I mean, well, then you still have, a bunch of years of Fried and a couple of years of Rodon and a couple of years of Cole, and you haven't yet gotten rid of Stanton. And McMahon's still $32 million over a couple of years. But that's not what happened. It's 1 year. I don't know how many more times I can look into a camera here on Unleashed or for years on the fan touching a microphone. He's running out of time. He's not 27 years old, guys. He ain't 28, not 29, it's not 30, not 31. He's not 32. Time is ticking, even for the great Aaron Judge. And so understand this. As the clock continues to tick, Chris Berman, tick, 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 tick. As the clock ticks, understand there might not be baseball next year. There really might not be. I'm not trying to be an alarmist here, but now with Tony Clark, Tony, wait. Come on, buddy. What are you doing, Tony? I don't understand this. This is a little quick aside, a little 20-second timeout. By the way, hopefully everybody's good today. Welcome to the show. Yeah, I'm fired up today. I saw this. I'm like, I can't wait to do this. So, Tony Clark, you just never know. Here I am all these years thinking, this distinguished, he just projects morality, doesn't he? Tony Clark, like that very stately beard and the very professional presentation. He's banging his sister's wife. He's banging his wife's sister. What? So he is now no longer he's no longer running the union. So whatever little teeny weeny tiny infinitesimal traction they made from a labor point in terms of having everything laid out, they basically got to start over. So when somebody texted that yesterday on the show, what do you think of Tony Clark getting, bailing out or I don't know, stepping down or getting voted out, whatever the term is, leading the players union? I'm like, whatever. I didn't really care. Number one, I was wrapped up in some good content, and it didn't really move me too much to really get into it. But then when I got off the air and I saw what happened, listen, I'm not here to judge anybody. I'm really not. Do what you want to do as long as it's of consent. Do what you want to do. But hooking up with your wife's sister. There's got to be there's got to be some rules amongst thieves, right? Geez, what are you doing, Tony? You dog? Come on, man. All right, so J-Rod, how you feeling today, brother? What's going on, everybody? J-Rod, BT.
What's up? Fired up on a beautiful Wednesday morning, ready to get after it.
Woke up this morning, got myself a gun. Bam. Yep, it's a good morning, man. Got a lot going on today, Jay.
Yeah, no, this news is crazy. I was just kind of peeling through some of the articles last night, kind of seeing what's up. I know another article came out 20 minutes ago saying that they were predicted not to trade him to the Yankees, but just predicted to part ways with him.
Whoa. Okay. Well, that just fuels what I'm saying here.
Yeah.
If that doesn't mean that prediction is going to come to fruition, but the more industry speculation that you get, the more informed sources that you get, kind of planting these seeds, I think the more vulnerable the situation becomes.
Big time.
And that's where you got to pounce. That's where you got to prey on the instability of the situation. That's where you got to really, maximize that leverage. Right now, the Phillies don't have any leverage. If Bryce Harper says, you know what, I don't think I can work here anymore. I don't trust this guy. He just shit on me publicly. I want out. What are they going to do? No? I guess they could say no, J-Rod, but you'd have to think it could be bad for business. Now, let me get to some other items here. And I saw a report yesterday. Not even a report. I'm going to call it a story. And again, there is a difference. To me, John Heyman has a report. To me, Joel Sherman has a report. Jeff Passan has reports. Buster Olney reports. I'm leaving others that I respect out unintentionally, but you know what I mean. And then there's a story where somebody who's entrenched in the game, but he's just kind of, extrapolating from one situation and piecing something together. It's not necessarily rooted in intel. It's more projecting things forward. And those are interesting. And I think that yesterday was more of that rather than a report, right? But the one story that I saw, and this is where I'm tapping the brakes, and even if the Phillies said we'll eat some of his salary, there was a report that said that the Phillies and the Yankees could make a trade happen. Yankees get Bryce Harper. You ready for this? This is funny. The Phillies get Dominguez. All right, that's fine. All right, he's going to make the team anyway, so take Dominguez, right? Ben Rice and Cam Schlittler. Are you out of your mind? There is click, goodbye. Now, that's me talking as Brian Cashman. I wouldn't, and I want Bryce Harper. You're not getting Ben Rice, who I think is a true potential, 2, 3, 4, 5 hitter for the next 6, 7 years for the Yankees. That's how much I think Ben Rice is going to explode. I think his ascent is it's already identifiable. Like, if you don't see it, I don't know what to tell you. His advanced numbers in terms of how he barrels the ball and exit velo and walk rate, he is just a blossoming stud. So I'm looking to keep Ben Rice, not get rid of Ben Rice. And Cam Schlittler, to me, like McClain over in Queens, I think those two guys, they stay healthy. They're Cy Young type of pitchers. So, you want Dominguez, you want Jones, you want a Will Warren, you want a Clark Schmidt, you want some of those other young guns that are coming up that will make the team in the bullpen. Rodriguez and Legrand, however you say that guy. Everybody messes his name up. Whatever his name is, that guy, take him. You can have those guys. You ain't getting your hands on both Ben Rice and Cam Schlittler. That's not happening. So now let's attack this, because this is really, really important. Aaron Judge is what, 34, 33, 34? And Aaron Judge is under contract this year, 2027. There might not be baseball. 2028, 2029, 30, and 31. You just know that, going backwards, 2031 and 2030, I mean, those are going to be just kind of years where he's hanging on and he's chasing benchmarks. Hopefully, let's see, he'll get to 4 this year. Hopefully by then, like maybe 6 and like 1,500 ribbies. And at that point, maybe he'll have bagged like 4 or 5 MVPs. Who knows? I mean, what he's going to have by then. Jeez, I mean, another 2 batting titles. Suddenly, Aaron Judge is, this superhero with power, and he's turning into like Rod Carew and Wade Ponds with a batting average as well. It's insane how he's morphed into this all-around, incredibly buttoned-up, surgical-like hitter. It's a beautiful thing to see. So anyway, and you knew that when you signed him, much like with Soto with the Mets and all these other long-term deals. Probably even Max Fried the last year or two, probably going to be an issue for the Yankees. It's the price of doing business. And if you can't handle that price, well, you shouldn't own a team, and you certainly shouldn't go out and try to get those kind of guys. If you can't absorb it on the back end, then you're in the wrong business. The Yankees can absorb it. It'll be fine. And the other reason why I ran through all those contracts, because as Aaron Judge's contract, and he's nowhere near it yet, but eventually it's going to morph into kind of a bad contract. Unfortunately, it just is. And when that happens, Stanton's long gone, Rodana's long gone, McMahon's long gone, Bellinger's long gone, Garrett Cole is long gone. Now, there'll be other imports, and maybe Lombard's a young stud, and at that point, I'm sure Ben Rice gets paid if he's still here. I understand somebody else is going to take the place to make money. Like, the Yankees won't have this $193 million payroll when Aaron Judge is aging out, but it's a lot more doable than I think many of you think here, and I'm going for it. I'm not wasting time. I'm not letting somebody jump in front of me at the table. I want Bryce Harper. Yankees need him. Yankees should get him, and that's it. And if they don't, if they don't get him, that's one thing. You can't force somebody to trade you a player that you want. You can only make them think and reevaluate the deal and just keep going back to the well to a point where once you pass the irresponsible part, like a Cam and a Rice and a Lombard, well, now you tap out, right? But you got to keep going, and you got to keep funneling those chips on the table, playing the long game, and eventually somebody's going to fold, right? And if it's the Yankees, that's fine as long as they make a move, right? As long as they try. That's the first thing that popped into my mind. Even before I saw the story about, the Rice and the Schlittler and the Dominguez Yankee possibility, because Dombrowski said this a while ago. When Dombrowski said that, I'm like, that's pretty interesting. And then I was very curious what Bryce was going to say when he showed up to Clearwater. And when he said what he said, I'm like, okay, windows open. Step through it. Let me get Madonna Mia. All right, I doubt they did Stanton after he was like the number 1 guy in the postseason for so many years. I don't see them doing that to him. They're keeping him for any big push. Well, then they're just, okay, then it's business as usual. Then just forget everything I just said. And, because Giancarlo Stanton's hit a couple of big home runs, and because he hits the ball as hard as anybody in baseball when he actually plays, let's just keep him around forever. You know what? Why don't you forget about, the player, but forget about the team option. Keep them for that. Maybe you could extend them. I mean, what are you talking about? Any big push? They don't want to do that to him. Hey, business is business, man. The Yankees are paying Giancarlo Stanton well. And Giancarlo Stanton didn't do a damn thing in the playoffs last year. Nothing. Can't run, can't throw, can't field. And I like Giancarlo Stanton. But when you start weaving that into the conversation, Yanks aren't going to do him dirty. Well, how about not doing your captain dirty? And I know the Judge loves Stanton. I know it. Too bad. Do you want to win or do you want to, have your boy next to you? Because who do you think is going to give the Yankees a better chance to win? Would you rather have Bryce Harper up there, 8th inning, 9th inning, Toronto, in Baltimore, in Boston, in the Bronx, in Detroit, wherever you are, in Houston, in a playoff game, Bryce Harper, now batting for the Yankees, Bryce Harper walking up to that plate, having a plan, knowing you're going to work the count deep, almost knowing you're going to get on base, and really feeling good that if the pitcher makes a mistake by an inch, that ball's smashed 420 feet. Now, I know that Stanton can obviously handle a mistake, but do you think that he's going to give you that quality at bat time and time again? The answer is no. Bryce Harper does, because that's what Bryce Harper does. That's why he's Bryce Harper. So that's easy. Now, if you can find a world where you can keep Stanton, sure. I'm not looking to give the man away, and I'm certainly not looking to disrespect him. But it is about winning a World Series. It's not about emotion or, remember the home run he hit against the Guardians a couple of fantastic. Did you win the World Series? No, we lost to the Dodgers. Well, it doesn't mean as much. Doesn't mean as much. Yeah, man, I think that this is real in terms of they're like a crack in the Harper Phillies foundation. That's why I'm so juiced up about this. Listen, one thing I think, I'll get to that in a sec. Hold on there, J-Rod. I know that you guys, or I hope that you know this about me by now. I've been wrong a ton. We all have, but I'm not just going to get on the air and say shit, make stuff up, stupid stuff, bluster, hot air, hot takes. I really hope, and I believe that you do, many of you, maybe not all of you, but the majority of you. I believe that most of you trust my sporting sensibilities. It's rooted in homework. It's rooted in experience. It's rooted in practicality. It's rooted in sensibility. I am not just going to fire up this show and throw out some nonsensical, stupid trade proposal just to get something, have something get 20,000 likes. That's not how I'm going to operate. I'm never going to operate that well. Although, by the way, and I didn't do this on purpose, J-Rod, did you see the amount of views on the Providence St. John's?
Yeah, that was wild.
Holy shit.
I guess it's
just
update this. A pertinent topic. That would be my thought, was just a lot of people are kind of checking the Duncan Powell. I also think it's your take saying, this got people talking, saying he should be banned for the whole season.
Well, he should be.
So, definitely got the people talking. It's provocative.
80, I know. And I'm not even trying to. That just kind of happened. That was woven within the framework of the show. It wasn't even, it was actually Burning Questions. Yeah. Brought to you by Sullivan Papane, one of the segments on Monday. Great sponsor, Sullivan. Love those guys, TJ and big St. John's fans. I'll do the Johnny's report later. It is up to 86,000 views on Instagram.
God dang.
86, man. Now, that's good. All right, here's one other thing. I meant now, I'm happy that I pulled you in here. One thing has to change here. Now, can you look at the screen? And no. Yes. Look at our screen right now. Mm-hmm. And ignore the two lights, that are shining through the logo. What else looks wrong with the screen?
There's just a light side and a dark side.
No. Well, there's always a light side and a dark side in life, but no, not that.
Is it like the split?
No, you're nowhere near it. No. I could put up with a lot of stuff. One thing that I cannot tolerate is to have J-Rod 5 inches higher than me.
I see.
Lower that seat, J-Rod. I present, like I told you, I went to Medieval Times the other night. We present to you King J-Rod. There we go.
There you go.
Come on, man.
There we go.
If anything, I got to jack my seat up, talk down. And you're still too high. Give it another inch. That's what she said.
I don't think we can go another inch.
That's what she said. That's much better. All right, that's cool. Yeah, I think that this Bryce Harper stuff is really, really potentially legitimate. And the Yankees, it's incumbent upon the Yankees to do something about this, because while we're sitting here, I said yesterday on the show that I think if Aaron Judge is healthy, He's going to win the MVP again. Like, this guy very well might bag 5 MVPs. He should already have the one more that Altuve stole during the Astros cheating scandal. And I just look at every offseason by the Yankees, and it's like, hey, not that I don't appreciate Max Fried. I do. He was terrific. And I know that was a big investment. I do appreciate the return of Bellinger. But it's like dribs and drabs and little, crumbs. All right, hey, let's connect the dots here. Just go for it. Will you go for it? Will you get off your behinds and go for it? This guy is not happy. This is a marriage that could be exploited in your favor. Now, you say, all right there, genius. You've identified the fact that Bryce might be a little pissed at Dombrowski. There might be a little crack in that armor out there in Philadelphia. Let's say you get Bryce Harper. Where is he going to play? Well, I got answers for you. Listen, do you really think that I'm going to present this to you without options, it's what we do on Unleashed. Don't you know that by now? You know that. So, since there's no way in hell I'm giving up Ben Rice, no chance, right? Nor am I giving up. You want Dominguez Jones, whatever. I'm keeping Cam and I'm keeping Ben Rice. So, what I would strongly contemplate doing is offering them Austin Wells. Now, I know that they retained their catcher for 2 years. He's getting older, whatever, Realmuto, but he's a good player. But if I'm Philly, all right, small ballpark, I'm sitting there saying, nice guy's in his mid-20s. He's a good receiver for the ball, good framer. Maybe he could play a little first base. Maybe he could catch twice a week here, lefty pop. Maybe we can see him hitting 30 home runs, which I could. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if he hits 30 at some point. So I would be willing to move on from Austin Wells, and I would be willing to make Ben Rice the full-time catcher. That's the first starting point. One of the first things I would do, because he's already catching, and the Yankees like him. I remember when Boone told me and Sal, I remember me and Sal looking at each other like, I don't know if I agree with you there, Skip. He actually thinks that Rice is a better catcher than he is a first baseman. Now, this was a year ago, and he's obviously putting more work in, and he's scraping away the rust. And I think you'll see at least a somewhat competent first baseman defensively in Ben Rice this year. I do, all right. But when this was a year ago, when Booney was talking to us, he said, no, he's a pretty good catcher. And I'm like, he just doesn't look like a catcher. Like, I almost feel like he's that kid in whatever level, way before the majors or major college baseball. Like, all right, he's got a good bat and he's got a good arm and he's big. Throw him behind a plate. And you're like, yeah, but does he really move like a catcher? Does he really frame it like a catcher? And at first, I'm like, no, I don't think he does. The more I've watched Ben Rice as the catcher, I think he's fine. He's not Pudge. I'm just not Thurman Munson. I got it. But he's functional, so that's one option. That's certainly one solution there. And, the other thing that you could do is you could trade Grisham. And you could put Bellinger in center for a year, right? And then you just have the corners of Bryce Harper and Aaron Judge. Now, doesn't that seem like the kind of outfield that Aaron Judge has earned to be part of, right? I know he's got love for Grisham, but I know Grisham had 30-plus home runs. Yeah, whatever. He ain't Harper. So I'd trade him in a minute. And when you sign somebody to the QO, you can trade them. Like, if that's unclear to anybody, you can. So I would think the way the market went for a lot of teams this offseason, and a lot of teams that didn't get quite what they thought they might get with free agency, are you telling me early on-ish in spring training that if Trent Grisham was made available to a team, especially a smaller market that's trying to keep that budget, 180, 190, 220, 230, like $100 million less than the big boys, you're telling me that they wouldn't be interested in a center fielder who hit 34 home runs, who's a good outfielder on a one-year deal? It's like you're bringing in 5 years of baggage. There's ways to do this, and I just gave you two. Rice the catcher, Harper at first. Trade Grisham, Belly in center, Harper in left. What's the problem? I would even go so far, you want to start constructing a roster here. If you've had some unconventional lineups, like I'm trying to do now I don't really care about this as much, like lefty, righty, lefty, righty, lefty, righty. Ideally you'd have another switch hitter or two that can kind of, soften things up and give the manager something to think about in the other dugout, like Bernie, guys. That's why there's such value there. Mark Teixeira back in 2009 when he fizzled out, but Mark's first couple of years were phenomenal with the Yankees, especially his first year. So if the Yankees were to get Bryce Harper, where would he hit? Well, I don't like Grisham. Let's say Grisham's here. I would strongly consider putting Harper 1. Harper 1. I got to find that right. I mean, of course you can go Judge. I mean, Harper 1, Judge 2. Okay, here we go. Bellinger 3, Stanton 4, Ben Rice 5. I mean, and now you get Grisham in a place where I believe he should be. Bottom third of the order, not leadoff hitter for a team that's trying to win championship, as I've been complaining about forever. So, as you could tell, I'm jacked up today, man. I always wanted Bryce Harper. I was lukewarm, Machado, whatever. Seager, whatever. I know the Yankees have kind of looked the other way with some of these big ticket items. Bryce Harper was the dude that I always wanted. Because not only is Bryce Harper the kind of guy you want up late, he's never going to get cheated. Think about some of the upper deck home runs that guy would hit at the stadium. He plays with a grit and an old school toughness and energy that I think any team, let alone the Yankees, can absolutely use. By the way, I guess Ray Muto got the 3-year deal. All right, my bad. What did I say? 2 years? All right, there you go. How about at BSCTCF-7Z50? I think I'm talking to a robot. Maybe I am. Who knows? Did BT say the Dodgers might take Stanton? They might not ever take Garrett Cole. They might not even, I guess you mean even. What? J-Rod, could you interpret that, buddy?
So
what does that mean?
Did the Dodgers ever, toss it up one more time. Did BT say the Dodgers might take Stanton? They might not ever take G. Cole. Okay, yeah. So my guess is what he's saying is, I mean, I didn't pick this up necessarily, but maybe he was thinking you were saying that the Yanks would maybe trade Stanton to the Dodgers.
And again, for those who don't know, or those who just tuned in, well aware, no trade. Stanton would have to grant the Yankees permission. He would have to acquiesce. Keep going, J-Rod.
And then I'm presuming he's saying that the Dodgers would never even take Garrett Cole.
Yeah, I mean, all right. I'm not looking to get rid of Garrett Cole. By the way, Charlie, thank you for that, Jay. Charlie F6675. Who are you going to give up is the hardest question. Philly's not interested in Stanton. I know that they don't want Stanton. I wouldn't think they would want Stanton. And Wells, in my opinion, are you giving up some big dogs here? Well, I mean, yeah, we can examine the viability here of just how much prime Bryce Harper has. I mean, am I giving up Lombard? No, I'm going to hold on to Lombard. Now, this is where I've got to be fair to the situation, because I remember saying this to Calder so many times over the years, not just the fan, my whole career, like, so-and-so, the Yankees or the Knicks or the Mets should go out and get so-and-so. I'm like, yeah, no, I agree. Who are you giving up? Give them. And like they name a fourth outfielder, the fifth starter in the rotation, and a middle relief arm. I'm like, dude, you got to at least construct a trade that is somewhat appealing to the other team. Like business is a two-way street, So unless there's a situation where one of the teams is economically broken and they just need to get rid of players' contracts, well, that's when you take advantage. That's not the situation. Philly's got plenty of money. They spend a ton of money. They fill out the stadium all the time. They've got good revenue stream there. They are very healthy financially. All right. So as I say that, I'm not giving up Ben Rice, and I'm not giving up Cam Schlittler, and I'm not giving up Lombard. So, maybe there is not an absolute path to make the trade actually happen, but that's different from me saying go out there and let's start investigating the possibilities of having something come to fruition, and let the Phillies throw names out there. See, here's the thing. When you talk about talent, right, it's the height of subjectivity. I mean, it just is. Like, I look at, and everybody's different, and I've said this a lot, like I look at Cam Schlittler and I look at Nolan McLean, and I see, if knock on wood, if they're both healthy and their bodies hold up, I mean, I see guys with Skubal-like stuff. I mean, maybe not quite 100% of Skubal, 90-something%, like potential Cy Young winners if they're healthy, 7-8 All-Star appearances, big games, closing out series, putting up zeros on the road in the championship series. Like, that's my interpretation. Others might look at a wind-up flaw or a lack of another pitch. I mean, again, there's many ways to evaluate this stuff. So I don't take it as gospel. I'm just telling you how I feel about certain players. Maybe, which I don't believe that this is true at all, because I've spoken to the Yankees about this, but just for the sake of conversation, like, say if the Yankees weren't as high on Ben Rice as I am. Like, again, I've been saying for a while, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5. I don't even think number 6, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think that's where he's going to be hitting for the next X amount of years. Well, maybe the Yankees are 70% there, and they really like him, but they're watching him play first, and they're like, and they haven't said it, but they're like, I don't know. Or, I don't know, is he going to really hit lefties? Or what? Which I think he will. I'm just saying, whatever they might be thinking, which they're not, but counter to what I believe he will become, well, then maybe they're more willing to trade him. So when I sit here and say, well, I'm not giving up Bryce, I'm not giving up Schlittler, I'm not giving up this guy, I'm not giving up Lombard, maybe they are. I mean, it's not like Lombard's numbers jumped off the page last year in the minors. I know he's a young kid. Hey, do me a favor, J-Rod.
What's up?
Can you, let's see where I want you to go, which database for this. Can you just type in George Lombard, Lombard, all right? Mm-hmm. George Lombard, and I would go to Baseball Cube, not Reference, not Savant, because he's in the minors. Baseball Cube. That's got all the By the way, as he's looking it up, Baseball Cube, you want to get lost, you have an hour or so to kill at some point, kids asleep and wipes out, whatever. Look at Baseball Cube and type in any of your old favorite players. Like, of course, I've done Mattingly, you know that. I remember typing in Ricky Henderson. You can see what Ricky Henderson did in the minors in like 1976. Wow. It's absolutely wild. So you have Lombard's minor league numbers up there, bud?
Yeah, I got it pulled up.
Okay, so now last year he split it at 2 spots, right? A ball and double A?
I believe so.
Double A.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
Give me now they'll have the breakdown. Give me in totality. So just where it says 2025, give me his OPS. What was his? I think it was 7 in the high 7s. What was his OPS?
695.
No, not for the whole season. That was for one of the
see.
teams. Come on, we got to train this kid.
Hold on.
I got you. It's all good. I'm just messing with you.
Wait, OPS, but not for the whole season?
No, for the whole season, meaning not for just one team, because he played. I believe he played at 2 levels.
I see. Okay, I'm gonna have to do some math here. So just a second.
I'll do it myself, you knucklehead. I'll get this in one answer. Oh man, I don't know if I could do this, because if I do this and I do it on my laptop, I'm fearful it's gonna mess with the actual stream here. All right, we're gonna teach you. Once you learn, it's all good. We're teaching you some stuff here. Once you learn this, you will never.
Wait, 0.718.
There we go. Thank you. Okay, thank you. All right, so basically 720. I mean, how many home runs did he hit? Again, in totality for the whole year.
In totality, let's see, totals, home runs. 223 it says, or that wouldn't be right. Hello?
Yeah, I'm here, Jay.
223.
So he had 223 home runs last year. All right, we're gonna keep it moving here. It's all good. We got to teach the young buck. You have to go to summer school on this one, buddy. My point is, it's all good. My point is that somebody like Lombard, it's not like he hit 341 in the minors with an OPS of 912 and stole 31 bases and got thrown out 4 times. His numbers are pretty pedestrian. Now, I know he's young. I get that. He's a young player. And I think this will be the year, I would imagine, that he'll start to really take off offensively. But, maybe the Yankees doing their deep dive analytically and looking at all the numbers, and, of course, the eye test, seeing him in the minors, maybe they don't view him to be the prospect that I still do and that most around baseball do. And if that's the case, well, maybe that's a way to entice Philly to trade Bryce Harper. So how about a Lombard? And how about this? How about a Lombard and say a Clark Schmidt? I know Clark Schmidt's not pitching right away. He's young, he's controllable, and he's good. I would even mess around. You want Will Warren? I would certainly think about that as well. You can't tell me there's not an avenue for dialogue that at least gives the Phillies pause in terms of, as they process what they may or may not do with Bryce Harper. All right, let me get to these guys here. What's going on, BT? Been a minute? Yeah, where you been there, Robert Huertas? Where's Robbie been? I say, let's get Harper, run the gauntlet. Let's take the shot while Judge is still elite. Exactly, dude. This is what I'm saying. If it doesn't work out, so be it. Go for it. Yes, that is my point. The old song, go for it. Go for it. In Rocky, was that Rocky 4? I think when he's teaching his son that. No, I guess that would have been Rocky 4. What am I saying? Rocky 4. Oof, my bad. That was blasphemous. I don't think you can get that wrong that much. It was Rocky 5 when he's teaching his son how to fight, right? Son's getting picked on in the schoolyard. He's wearing the earring. He thinks he's a punk, smoking the heater. And he's with Tommy Gunn. And then his son's like, Dad, teach me how to fight. And I believe Go For It was the song, the montage to when he was trying to. And then he lit up that fat little punk in the schoolyard. He took his jacket. My ring's outside. You knocked him down. Why don't you try knocking me down now, huh? What's up, J-Rod?
It's 9 home runs, 748 OPS. There we go. There's another site, MILB.
Yes, minor league baseball.
It gives you just straight up, just 2025 stats. There you go.
Well, then for you can use the MILB. I know that's the minor league database. I just love going to like, obviously for the current player, Savant gives you, if you love numbers, everything that you want. And then the baseball cube is great. You know what I love? The thing this is where I found out about the baseball cube. There were a lot of guys that I played against a couple in high school and a couple in college. And actually, even with a few players in college, like my buddy Georgie Santiago was drafted by the Mets, our shortstop. My buddy Coot was playing independent ball. So anyway, I wanted to see. I'm like, I wonder if they have like their stats, and they actually do. That's how I found it. I stumbled upon it. So if there's somebody that you grew up with that was a stud and, obviously played beyond high school, and you're like, oh, I wonder whatever, so-and-so never made the bigs, but man, he was amazing in high school. And when he was 12, he was the best around. If you ever wonder about, and we all have those players, right, that we grew up with, it's a great database. You just type their name in, and if they played, even if it's one at bat in the minors, could be the independent league, whatever it might be, it will be up there. So that's how I stumbled upon it. All right, we'll get back to the Harper stuff. Yesterday was a lot of fun with we had 3 really good topics yesterday. Judge spoke, Cohen spoke, obviously, as well, and the Breece Hall stuff, which was absolutely money. But J-Rod, let's take care of a little business here, buddy. Time for the Johnny's Report. That is right, the Johnny's Report. My good friends over there at Sullivan Papane get fired up with Sullivan Papane at every St. John's home game this season at the Garden. Remember the name Sullivan Papane, a winning team on the court and in the courtroom. Find Sullivan Papane at triallaw1.com. That's triallaw1.com. Remember the name Sullivan Papane. All right, Johnny's back in action tonight. They were playing Marquette. It's a late tip, 9 o'clock. I might even do I'll tell you about this after, but I might do a first half live watch party tonight as a soft launch. I'll get back to that, but they are playing late. It's on TNT. St. John's they're 20-5, 13-1 in the Big East here. Obviously, that massive game up in Stores coming up. That's going to really determine who's the number 1 seed in the Big East. The last time St. John's lost was January 3rd to Providence. They have ripped off 11 straight wins since then. Dylan Darling has just exploded. Obviously, Zuby's having a massive season, a lot of contributions. Patino took them a while to figure out this group, but they certainly have. And after tonight against Marquette, a team they should be very, very able. Like Marquette's not going to stop them defensively. I'm not taking this for granted. Johnny's a big favorites, but a team like Marquette with a coach like Shaka, it's not Kim English, who's a disaster up at Providence. Shaka Smart's a real coach. Like, he's a great coach. So Marquette could score. They just don't have the athletes to stop St. John's. So I would think eventually maybe a tight first half, maybe even tight first couple of minutes into half number 2. I think eventually St. John's toughness, they'll impose their will, and they should be able to bag another win here, which will be number 21 on the season. But now this sets up, all right, Saturday at the Garden versus Creighton, another team they should beat up. And then a week from tonight, up in Stores, St. John's, UConn, number 5 of the country. Last night, by the way, and really the last couple of games, some of these top 25 teams that have been in front of St. John's, they've been knocked off. So I would think that if St. John's handles business tonight, And I'm more concerned about, I wouldn't say I'm really concerned, but more concerned about tonight than I am about Saturday. If St. John's goes 2-0, given some of the volatility and the movement in front of them in the AP poll, I would think St. John's would have a real chance to jump from 17, which is where they are now, to about, maybe 13, 14, which is kind of where I think they should be. As I've said, I thought St. John's was wildly overranked coming in. I think they're a little underranked now, but whatever. At the end of the day, rankings mean nothing. I mean, just keep winning, keep playing well. Johnny's looking good. I'll go to campus tomorrow. I'll shoot the TV show with Rick. Of course, the Red Storm Report every Friday and Saturday on MSG. And things are looking good. Before you know it, the regular season finale is coming up March 6th at Seton Hall. I'll be doing that game with the Mink Man. Shout out to Minky. And let you guys know about the Zuby Ejiofor, recently named to the Naismith Defensive Player of the Year watch list. And both Zuby and Dylan Mitchell are both right now projected to be drafted. Zuby right around that 30 to 36 threshold. I think he's going to be late first round. I think he does squeeze into the first round. And Dylan Mitchell, who, once he learns to shoot a little bit, his game translates to the NBA. He is also thought to be a second-round pick. So good stuff there. Johnny's red hot, and keep it moving here. And again, that is the Johnny's Report, brought to you by my friends at Sullivan Papain. I was chatting with my guy TJ McManus yesterday, all fired up. St. John's fans are absolutely so excited about this, and I don't blame them. So, again, triallaw1.com. That's where you find Sullivan Papain, triallaw1.com. Sullivan Papain. Remember the name, Sullivan Papain. That is the Johnny's Report. Now, all right, J-Rod, so tonight, what do you think about this? It's a long day, geez. So, today's going to be one of the longer days I've had. Let me lay out my day for you. What time is it? All right, about 11 or so. I will have got about another half hour-ish, something like that. And then today's a workout day, so I'll jump down to the basement, throw around some weight. Not a ton, but I'll get after it as much as I do. And then my son, we have, for his travel team that I do coach, I don't coach his club team, obviously. That's different. We've got practice from 4:30 to 6. And then I'm jumping on with Sal from 8 to 9 on Sal's podcast. And then I'm thinking about messing around with a little watch party here, St. John's Marquette for the first half. Okay. Now, I don't even know if you're available tonight. So we have our contract, so it is. I don't expect you to show up and work for nothing. But how would I do this if you're not around?
Listen, I certainly could be around just to obviously hit the record for you if you want to. I also, there's also just it's pretty easy to end the stream or do it by yourself. But listen, let me know. I can cut up some graphics. We could do a little Johnny's watch party instead of subscribe to BT Unleash. You can kind of do something like that right there.
Oh,
and then, I guess kind of similar to however you were cooking up the lives before. Just throw them up.
Yeah,
that mug is so nice.
Yeah, no, they're coming. All right, okay, so that's interesting. Now, I need you to do not yet. So, you guys know that these freaking lights are on my last nerve. I didn't want to go too nuts yesterday because the kids were here. They didn't have school yesterday, and when I started the show, I didn't want to sound like an unhinged lunatic with both my kids home. But if you saw me the night before running to the hardware store because those stupid chintzy, whatever the hell I paid for from wherever the hell I got them from, they fell. They're just cheap as shit. Waste of money, right? Took them down. Then I'm like, all right, let's get old school creative. Then I took cardboard and I taped them, and then the tape fell down. Now it's 9 o'clock at night. I'm like, let me go to the hardware store if they're still open. Let me try to get something to just kind of conceal the light. It's really pissing me off, right? And I'm thumbtacking them into the home's only 6 years old. It's a pretty new home we built, and I'm sticking thumbtacks like I'm living in college, like in a dorm. Yeah. So anyway, I know I got to fix the lighting. I'm thinking about, as I've watched a lot of the shows, a lot of the shorts, incorporating the feedback. I love the logo. The logo is going nowhere. I love the logo. I was just thinking, I want to show our BT Unleashed fam this year, and I want your honest opinion. Don't know for sure if I'm going to do this. Beginning the process of contemplating doing this, going from something. Now, again, the lights ruin what's behind me, but and I'd have to get it less glossy, and I'm working on that. Of course. The logo's dope. We all know the logo's tight, right? But if we were to do something like this, pop it up there, J-Rod, and this was behind me, how we feeling about this? I got to tell you, man, I'm digging this. I am really digging this. And maybe keep it up there, Jay. Maybe there's ways to, like, if you look at the brick there, maybe just a tick darker around the perimeter, maybe make those little indentations where the bricks are maybe slightly more noticeable and identifiable. Like, we can always streamline it a bit and make this thing look even better. I don't know, man. I'm looking at this and I'm saying this thing is going to pop like a monster on social media. J-Rod, what do you think, buddy? What's your first reaction? Oh, yeah, here they come.
First
Look,
reaction.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you can kind of see what the people are thinking right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think it looks good. I think it looks clean. And I think what the white brick allows you to do is it allows you to also build off of that in the future. So let's say, okay, you've got the plain white backdrop, but then you can also kind of put some other stuff around it, and it kind of gives it a more natural feel. So I'm into it.
Rather than just like jammed in there on a black wall.
The Bat Cave.
Yeah.
The BT Cave.
Yeah. I mean, yes, I'm looking at the and it's certainly not J-Rod's fault. It's no one's fault. I mean, if anything, I guess I'll take the L, even though it's not really my fault, but it's my show, so I've got to own it. I'm looking at the shorts out there. I'm like, this looks horrible. And it's not his fault. It's just so freaking dark. I'm like, I don't know about this. Like, the concept. And again, I love the way the BT.
Is this Rosemary Tierney S1R? Is that in relation to you?
Could be. I don't know.
Love the brick background.
Is that Mama chiming in here? I don't know. Be. Mama always supports. She was at the BT and Sal live show. She always watches. So and Mom's always honest there. So I didn't really know that I didn't even know she had a YouTube channel. Honestly, I don't know if it's her. I really don't know.
That's so funny.
I don't know. But if it is, what's happening, Mom? I love you. The white just and then we can and then maybe there's a way like superimpose, like if it's a Jets day, like have like put that back up for a sec.
Yeah.
Imagine this. Now this would be like green screen. Like, this is next level. I got to actually make some money doing this before I actually start doing all these bells and whistles. But like, if we're talking Yankees, like superimpose like a spray painted NY Yankee logo or Jets or Knicks, like topic oriented. There's a way to incorporate some other stuff. I don't want to make it too busy. Like, to me, this is really clean and really pops. And, it's almost more like graffiti, which I love. I used to actually do graffiti. I think I mentioned that once or twice back in the day. I used to actually do graffiti. I loved it, man.
That's so sick.
I loved it. Oh, what?
It's like something that's completely died out with, I think, my generation. Like, no one my age does graffiti.
Jay, I thought that as well, right? I thought that as well. But, like, I'm very observant. Like, when I used to go to the Fan all those years, and same building, 13 years, my route was I'd eventually get to the Holland Tunnel, and that's where it would really slow down. And I would always look at all the graffiti, and I would see a lot of new graffiti. I don't think it's quite as common as it was back in the day. Like, there was a point, and even this is where I was like, man, this might be pushing the limits a little bit too much. Like, I admit I was afraid doing this. I did it, but I was afraid. So I was probably, I definitely was not in high school yet. I think I was in the 7th grade. And anybody who's got an Italian mom, like I do, worries about everything. The Jewish mom, the Italian mom, the Puerto Rican mom. Like, there's certain moms that just worry about everything, right? And she was always worried. And a lot of my friends where I grew up, their moms didn't worry, right? They just kind of did whatever they wanted. So I would always have to like try to be really sneaky, and like these kids could stay out, till 10 o'clock at night. There was no way in hell. I'm talking about in 6th, 7th grade. There's no way that was going down with my dad and no chance. So I had to lie a lot, And where you going? Oh, I don't know. I'm going to shoot hoops, whatever I'm going to do. And like I would come home, and my dad would actually look at my fingers to see if there was any remnants of spray paint.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh yeah. A couple times, not with incredible frequency, but a couple times.
Sure.
And I remember this one time. And I can remember the 5 kids I was with. I'm not going to name them, but I could see it like it was yesterday. And this was a million years ago. We went to the Q train on Kings Highway, actually jumped down on the tracks and walked along and were spray painting. Like, it was like, what was it? Kings Highway, Avenue H. You get to like Newkirk Avenue. I mean, we didn't walk that far. then eventually Prospect Park, like that Church Avenue. That was the route in Flatbush. And
wow.
yeah, man, I used to love it. Love it.
Sick. Dang.
And I got a good old school. You'll love this movie. I got a little homework for you.
Okay.
A little homework for you.
Lay it on me.
If there weren't trademark and copyright things, I'd play the song for you now, but I don't want to mess around, get in trouble here. I got to figure this stuff out still. I don't want the channel to get shut down. Go and see the movie or go and watch the movie Beat Street.
Okay.
B-E-A-T Street. It is an old school. I'm going to say, if you can look it up, check out what year it was. If I had to throw a guess down, I'm going to say Beat Street was about 84.
Yep,
maybe
exactly.
84. Okay, 84. Now you look at like the origin of rap and graffiti. You know, you're talking Uptown in the mid 70s, as you and I have talked about, like Grandmaster Flash, even before Cool Herc, like before. So it goes back. It goes back a minute. But this to me was the first film, and then there was Electric Boogaloo, Boogaloo. And then there was like a second one, like Turbo and Ozone. And I just thought that one was corny. Beat Street to me was a gritty, real depiction of inner city 80s, not gang-alike. There wasn't like nobody was hurting each other. It was just a pure, you know, hey, let's go out there, let's get our name up on the subway, let's get our hustle on. Like, gritty. And the music was awesome, dude. Absolutely.
Cool. I'm checking it out.
You're gonna love it.
Yeah,
I promise.
I'll watch it.
You're gonna love it. I promise you there. So what's the if you had to say, Jay? I know we saw the first 3 or 4 that said they love it. Then we saw, you know, is it overwhelming? They like they're feeling that? I mean, what are you doing?
It seems overwhelming. Lighter background looks much better. Mama knows best. This was the one I really liked. Avery Summit, our guy.
Ooh.
Brick by brick is your motto. So the bricks are a subtle nod to that. And I was like, yeah, that's cool.
Dude, that's witty right there. I like that. Way to piece it together. Way to bring it home, Avery. Yeah, brick by brick, click by click. Wow. BT Unleashed there. I do like that. That's very strong. I like that. What else do I have?
BT about to produce a TV show about his youth.
Listen, there's certain let me just tell you this. Like
one day.
I joke around with some of my buddies, right? Like every year we go on a golf trip. And we used to, for years, go down to Myrtle Beach. We'd fly and we'd stay there for a week. This is like pre-kids, pre-marriage. And we probably went to Myrtle Beach a good 15 years, right? Even into marriage and even early into kids, right? Mm-hmm. And, you know, maybe not. Some guys wouldn't be able to get out for a week. I'm going. Like my wife's, even when we were married, like that came into the marriage. Like golf trip, I'm going. She's cool. But I don't want to be gone for a week because I don't want to miss big games for my kids. So I even condense it on my end. Either way, we did that for a long time. And then what we started to do after COVID, you know, some of the wives, you know, ran a tighter ship than others. And they're like, oh, you're not going anywhere. You're not doing this. You're not doing that.
Yeah.
So we had a couple of wives, mine being one of them as well, where instead of flying, which I understood, it was an unknown period. I'm not knocking anybody. I get it. In hindsight, ridiculous, but in real time, understood. And we said, hey, instead of flying, let's rent the house. We got a nice spread on a lake in the Poconos. We'd have a fishing contest. We play 3, 4, 5 days, get banged up every night. And one of my buddies has always said, he always said, B, if you ever did a show, right? If you ever actually did a show and just told stories about the shit that you did, like the real stories, like, you know, you'd be a billionaire. Like people would eat, but I can't. I can't do that kind of show because if I do that kind of show, I don't know if there's another show.
Yeah, exactly. You know? Who knows? I think what could be fun would be, listen, and also this is like to the Unleashed fam. If there's like any animators out there, any like cartoon guys out there who kind of do stuff like that, if you did like little shorts where maybe you like told the story of your life and did like a cartoon graphic of it with like, you know, I think that would be sick. I think that would be sick, honestly.
Wow.
We can start talking about that. I mean, but I think that would be cool. I mean, I know other channels have like kind of done very similar stuff. Mm-hmm. I think that would be so much fun. Like do like a little animated short, like 2-3 minutes.
Yes.
Something like that.
I don't even know if you need 3 minutes. I mean, dude, that would be phenomenal. And by the way, we'd give you a full run. We'd play it on the show. We'd get your handle out there. We'd get you some business. That That's one of your better ideas. Now,
Hey,
three
appreciate
minutes
it.
is very ambitious.
Yeah.
Like, if somebody wants to do the work, I'm all for it. But I mean, even like a minute and a half, I mean, oh, wow, that would be sick, dude.
Yeah.
Sick.
Let me start just like plotting more on this, and then
Yeah. It was just
talk
a
some more.
different world, dude. I mean, it really was. I remember, I'll tell you a funny story. I remember, I'm going to contrast it, right? So I just mentioned COVID. During COVID, so that was 2020, we moved into our home December of 18. All right. So when we moved on, it was supposed to be ready before that, but there was some stallings with the buildings, whatever, with the builders. Move in December 18. And, we don't know anybody. I'm not from here.
Oh.
What kids aren't really in school yet. There's no sports yet. So I don't really know anybody. So my son met somebody, really, his name is Johnny, great kid, at preschool, right?
Mm-hmm.
Good family. Actually, big fans of sports radio, like just good, cool people.
Yeah.
Haven't seen them in a while, but good people. Anyway, we have them over when we're getting to know them early on. We're in the backyard. Me and the dad are having a beer. The wives are having a glass of whatever they're having. And, we ordered some food and like we put a little tent up, make it nice, whatever. And the boys start wrestling, right? And like they start getting aggressive. I think they were probably about, they were five and a half, and getting aggressive, right? Throwing each other around. And the mom's like, oh, no. Like, let them, and I'm sitting there, literally sitting there like this, talking to the dad with a beer, like, they're fine, let them go. And I remember just saying, no punching in the face, guys. I remember saying that, right? So that's now. Like that, the moms are like, oh no. Meanwhile, they're just being boys, right? Now let's contrast that. I'll never forget this. This was hysterical. We're playing in the street as we always did. My buddy Tommy, who was a year older. And when you're a year older at that age, that makes a big difference. So I was probably 8 and he was like 9.5, right?
Yeah.
A little stronger, good athlete. Anyway, we would play on the street. And if you guys are obviously watching, although on Spotify you can't see this, so I apologize. But so the street goes fairly narrow, and like we had like first base, second base, third base, home, and then there was like house, and all the moms would sit around and drink coffee, and this is the 80s, whatever they're doing, not a worry in the world, dude. You hear the ice cream truck, you have $1, you're set for 3 hours, you get 2 drinks and a piece of candy, you're good. So anyway, I think I slid into second base on concrete like an absolute knucklehead. And my buddy, I may have told the story once, so I'll get through it quick. So just to contrast how different it is, dude. And I slide into second. And, me and Tommy always had to be on different teams because we were the 2 best players on the street. If we were on the same team, we would never lose. Like, not to be a jerk, but we had to be on different teams. So I slide in, and I don't even remember if I was out or safe. Tags me hard. I think I took a little issue with it. Now he's like hanging on me, and I probably push him off me. It's my best friend, absolute best friend at the time. Best friend. Push him off me, and then he pushes me back, and we start beating the shit out of each other. I mean, throwing punches, not like, oh, what do you, not like woofing, like fake, like most fights. And I'm not a fighter. Like, I'm not saying I'm a fighter now, but like you fought back then, you fought, right? No weapons, fists. Till somebody gets bloodied up and it gets broken up. So the moms are sitting on the stoop, right? And they're getting like now, kind of like my wife and in the backyard with my son and his buddy a couple of years ago. But no, not crazy. Tommy's dad, who's a retired cop at that point, and rest in peace, he's passed away since. He's catching that day, and he just walks up, takes his time. Yeah, I definitely did tell the story. Takes his time. Just grabs me by the shirt, grabs Tommy by the shirt, throws us in separate directions.
My gosh.
What are you doing, knuckleheads? That's it. Fight over. Best friends 10 minutes later. Like that's how it was addressed back then. So if you can imagine like what we were doing this is the point, in front of parents, imagine what we were doing without parents and without cameras.
Oh my gosh. It must have been wild.
Honestly, sometimes I wonder how I made it.
Yeah.
Certain parts, certain times, like we did what? Just wild, dude.
Yeah,
so I almost,
dang.
as envious as I am on some level, like you guys are younger and you got different stage of life and all that beautiful thing. You really did get cheated in a lot of ways. Like I think I was the last generation where you could kind of do whatever you want.
Yeah, I mean, I just think once you know, you were a kid and now
Yeah.
all of a sudden you've got like a phone on you all day. Like
Yeah.
you're always tethered
Freaking
to
phones.
something. You're
Yep.
always tethered to, you know, a parent, a friend, like there's always something calling you back. You're never just going out and exploring freedom. There's always got to be like something behind it, I think.
Yeah.
Is what has been like my growing up. Like and granted, like I guess in the times when, you know, I was back home in Connecticut, just open air, kind of that, it was more of a, you know, freeing natural feeling,
Yep.
but also just like, yeah, growing up in kind of this generation, there really isn't that let's go out and get wild. Kids my age are really trying to like fit into a box almost. And like really, I guess it seemed like not trying to be the one who's going out doing the graffiti, going out doing the kind of wild stuff, because it's just like it's more acceptable to kind of just like be just normal, don't express yourself in that kind of way.
It's interesting. And by the way, it's not a bad thing not going out there and trying to do crazy
Yeah,
shit,
exactly.
because sometimes it really goes sideways. But yeah, I don't know, man. I think that even when you look at, I'm sure there's a lot of people watching this who are getting ready to be parents or are parents, but their kids are still like, they're still babies. You'd be stunned. Like, now we're past that point, but I remember first hearing the term play dates. I'm like, what the fuck is a play date? What are we doing?
Yeah, what?
Play dates. Like, oh yeah, so-and-so wants to have a play date. They're 9 years old. Like, go play. Just go play in the yard. You know, play date. Like the organization, J-Rod.
Of everything.
Yeah, and the structure, it's just, you know, I get it, and I'm not trying to fight the world and push back. There's a lot of good things about it, but just think about that. Like, no, generally, you just kind of become friends with who you become friends with. There's like this, it's almost like a prearranged marriage in some circles. Like, yeah, and it expires at a certain, I mean, if you're doing play dates at the age of 13, you got something seriously wrong. Even at the age of 11, this should play dates. No, but yeah. I do get it when you're a little younger, but you wait, dude, wait until I'm curious what the next stage is. That's what to me is very intriguing. Like, you know, my dad's generation, grow up, play stickball, you know, just the radio, no CDs, you know, no, but it's not like you went to college and like grew and then got an apartment in Manhattan with, you know, two buddies. True story. My dad graduates high school. Now, my grandfather on my paternal side worked in a sugar factory. Okay. Tough as nails. Yeah. Irish side, really good ball player, played some minor league baseball. And was and passed away, unfortunately. I was very young. I remember vaguely snapshots, but I don't really truly remember spending a lot of time with him. I just remember like this tattoo anchor on his forearm for the name, whatever. I do remember sitting on his lap, seeing that. Big, strong hands, big, strong guy, right? And my dad told me that when he graduated high school, he's like, all right. He's like, you got 1 week. Enjoy yourself. Have fun. Do whatever you want. Don't get in trouble. After 1 week, you either get a job or you join the Army. That was my dad was born in the 40s. God bless him. He's in his early 80s right now. He's the best. You know, you guys saw or heard my pops when he called in on the fan that day, my last show. He's a great man. I love him beyond description. And what he grew up with, same with my mom, and what he grew up with and what she grew up with, it was so different. Now think about that. Now that was also on the side because he didn't have a lot of money and he was tough with, but not everybody grew up that way back in the day, but a lot of people did. Now it's like, okay, forget about graduating high school. That you graduate, do you want to go and tour Europe for 3 weeks? Yeah, here's $35,000. Go, and I don't begrudge it. If you have the money to do, go have fun. It is what it is. Go find yourself, daughter. Go explore. Go and see the world. That was the mandate. That was it. Hey, you got 1 week. Have fun. Whether you're playing stickball or playing cards with your buddies, figure it out, and then get a job or join the Army. That's what my dad was doing.
Nowadays you get a year to produce podcasts before you got to move out the house. So man, times have changed. Times have changed.
My dad was 28 years old. I mean, and way before that, he was, working 2 jobs. He's got a mortgage. He's got 2 kids. Well, I think I was born when he was 30. But now 28-year-olds are still living at home.
It's crazy.
And their parents don't care.
Yeah, no, it's insane. I mean, it's almost times have changed. We're living in Candyland now. So
well, that's why, J-Rod, that's why I say, like, I wonder what the next step is. Like, I was going to say that there's generally some sort of recalibration and kind of historically, whether it's the stock market or even behavioral patterns, like a retreat to the mean, so to speak, if that makes sense. But I don't really think that that's going to happen pertaining to what we're talking about now, because really now people like you, your age and your generation, they're used to one way of life. And as they get married, that's what they'll espouse to their kids and for their family. And the old school roots are going to eventually die off.
Yeah. I mean,
it's not going to change.
It'll be interesting because it's like with, I guess, our younger generation, you know, we grew up like a lot of our free time was playing video games with people, like watching TV, I'm just so curious as to what the entertainment for the future generations will be, how they will spend their free time. Is it just gonna, it might just be in like a virtual reality world or something, but
come on, stop, dude. Who
knows?
No, stop. How about this at Ocean View Coffee Shop? That looks like a very serene, very calming backdrop. Sounds like they got the good life there. Wouldn't want my kids doing what I did. Damn straight. Now, they'll do different things that they don't want us to know about, because every kid finds a loophole to figure things out, to be a little sneaky. But yeah, I mean, how many times do you think about, like, I lie, like, no, well, it's certain things I lie. Like when it comes to sports, I'm brutally honest. I tend to illuminate my bad rather than my good for my, more so for my son, because he's very competitive. I don't want him to think daddy was great. I mean, daddy had a lot of struggles, you know what I mean? And I think if you're real with that, I think it's a more relatable experience. And I want him to understand, like, no, daddy didn't grow up playing for the Yankees. Daddy, stumbled a lot. So, if you go 0 for 4, it's fine, I think that the middle of the road there, though, is like being incredibly honest and being completely mistruthful. Like there were the other day, my parents were over, and to my dad, what did he ask him? Something about like me in school. Oh, dude, it was a nightmare. Me in school, God Almighty. And I remember my son's back was to me, and I just kind of winked at my dad. I'm like, and so I lied. I forget what he was asking him. I'm like, no, Dad, I would never do that. Are you crazy? No way. Like it was the exact opposite. Yeah. So yeah, of course you want to shield them from certain things that you did. But at the end of the day, kids will figure it out. We could talk about this stuff all day. The bottom line is this: I want Bryce Harper. That's the bottom freaking line.
There we go.
And I want Bryce Harper, and I want the Yanks to figure this out, and I want the Yanks to go full throttle, and I want the Yankees to pounce on what I perceive to be a very vulnerable position. When Dombrowski says what he said about Harper, you can't tell me Harper's not pissed. The Yankees have a couple of more years of Aaron Judge's prime. There might not be baseball next year, or there's going to be a truncated season, whatever the hell's going to happen with this labor mess. The Yankees, they owe it to Aaron Judge to do this. And I think the timing is incredible, because yesterday we talked about, Aaron Judge out there at the press conference saying, hey, we're the Yankees here, and then he softened it, he parsed it. We hit that yesterday, but there was a lot of truth in that delivery. There was a lot of frustration in that delivery. And, I wish he would have done it a month ago. Maybe it would have served as more incentive for the Yankees to do more, but that's not Aaron Judge's way. And I'm certainly not going to criticize him for being, a good soldier. I mean, he's the lowest maintenance superstar in the history of superstar. I mean, even Jeter, who was a low maintenance superstar, I didn't care about this, but George did. George had to call him in once or twice. All right, man, you're getting a little, you're running around town, and be careful here. You don't even hear that about Aaron Judge. He just had a baby. He's been married, quiet as a mouse, doesn't do anything. Hits 58 home runs every year and keeps his mouth shut. He's the best. You owe that man more than you're giving him. That's what I'm saying. So if you just tuned in, the first 40 minutes, it was basically a straight 40-minute fire monologue. I mean, just no hesitation, full throttle, all in, laid it all out for you. The contracts, who I would trade, what I wouldn't do. It is all there for you. At Rich Squire 986. Rich, what's going on, buddy? Let's see. Cashman getting Harper now is his MO. Well, yeah, true. Older, declining player on the cheap. Wouldn't be surprised there. Gallo, Goldie, and Donaldson. Well, all right. Now this is where Richie, like many, takes it a little bit too far. to put Bryce Harper in the same category as Gallo. I mean, but let's be a little fair here. Or even Donaldson. I mean, Bryce Harper is still a beast. He had a little bit of a step back season, but I think he would be so revitalized here with Judge and a different fan base and that short porch and the pinstripes that you know that his dad revered, which is why I thought he was going to be a Yankee until the Yankees cheaped out all those years ago. So that's where I'm at with that. All right, let me get cooking here. I got a busy day. As I said, I'm going to hop on with Sal tonight on Sal's channel. So you guys are going to have to find that. All right, the Sal Licata show at 8. I've got to find out about the possibility if I could do this on my own. I think I could. I think it's pretty easy to figure out. Maybe a little St. John's first half watch party tonight against Marquette. Listen, obviously, get it out there, guys. All the likes. You know, I got to get those likes up, man. Get those comments flowing in. You guys know that I see them. I think that you know by now it's a very interactive channel. I mean, I respond daily. I mean, matter of fact, I actually carve out by design a good 25, 30 minutes every day where I just go to the comments, the good ones, the bad ones, whatever. It's like, I don't need self-glorification. I'm not looking for that. I'm just looking for interaction to let you guys know that I see what you write and, you know, a lot of continue the dialogue there. So you guys are doing a good job with that. But the more we get of that, you know, the more the channel is going to explode there. So I appreciate those of you who do it. Obviously, follow me on Instagram. Keep the thoughts in on the possible change of the background. Also, if you go to the YouTube or if you navigate the YouTube channel, you're obviously there now. If you go to posts, I put a picture of it up there. So if you didn't see it, it is up there for you guys to weigh in. Do you like it? You know, should we tweak it? Should we mess around? Still a little bit in the experimental stage here with the logos and the backdrops. And I heard Sal was making fun of the backdrop. I'll tell you right, Sal starts making fun of the backdrop tonight.
Did you watch? Did you watch?
I'm going to light him up on his own channel. If he starts pulling that, if Sal wants to make an enemy, he introduces me tonight wearing his King Cohen garb, talking shit about the logo. Hey, that's the end of the friendship.
You gotta watch out for Booms. You gotta watch out for Booms tonight. He could get on you. Also, Brian Daly, I love you.
Okay, all right.
That's all I can say.
Listen, I will say this. I'm sure whatever Booms throws my way, I think I can handle. I think, you know, but I do want to meet Booms. I'm looking forward to it. So that's tonight.
It'll be fun.
I am. I'll tell him you said what's up. I want to get you guys cooking on a project at some point. So, J-Rod, have an outstanding rest of your day. Get those shorts up, buddy. Do what you do. Like it, sub. Get the comments going. Instagram, Twitter, all that stuff. Spread the word. Get it out there. Grow the family. BT Unleashed, of course. Sal tonight at 8. Possibly a Johnny's watch party at that. Either way, a big game for St. John's. They've won 11 straight. Try to keep this thing going. And before you know it, Big East tournament, Selection Sunday, see where they're going, spring training a little bit deeper, and really, really good time of the year. This is my favorite time. You got the Masters around the corner. Weather starts to thaw out. I saw this morning, at least where I am in the Northeast, it was raining a little bit. Now it looks like the sun's starting to pop out, so you're starting to see that snow recede a little bit more. And you know what I'm thinking? I'm thinking fungo bat. I'm thinking, you know, let's get out of the indoor facility. Let's get on the turf, kids. A little baseball and softball. I know many of you are thinking that as well. So have a great Wednesday. Catch you guys with Sal tonight. Peace. I'll see you.
This is Unleash. Are you listening? Can you hear me? This is Unleash. Are you listening? Can you hear me? This is Unleash. Are you listening? Can you hear me? This is Unleash. Are you listening? Can you hear me?
With your host, Brandon Tierney, is